Hello everybody, happy midweek. Today is the midweek and of course we are going to do something super beautiful. So I'm very excited to get back into making some round bath bombs. I've been asked for these ones a little bit, so let's get into making. This is going to be a two-toned bath bomb. We're doing a purple, blue, and then we'll just have a fun little center actually a fun little top, not center at the top. And I'm going to just tell you exactly what I'm doing, which is going to be fun, isn't it? So let's get making these beautiful ones. I do have a really fun mixture that I've made. This is a brand new formulation of my scent. So this one is a cypress, a very beautiful kind of cypress. I was going to say floral, but it's not. It's like a cypress with a blueberry and of course a little bit of pine in there, very tiny bit, and some cinnamon and so on. But it just smells absolutely divine, perfect for the winter months in Australia because we're in winter. Even though I have a top on here, it is about 20 degrees in winter here today. So 20 degrees, I'm trying to think of what that actually is, in American terms, because here we use Celsius and I know you guys use Fahrenheit over there, but anyway, I'll see what it is and I'll put that in the description so I can tell you the weather midweek. I have just come back from a lovely friend's farm, and that's called Rosehaven Farm, out a long way, 4.5 hours from me, just past Horsham, and I will have a video on that for everybody wanting to know exactly what I've been up to, but that will be in a little bit of time. But for today, like I said, let's get making some gorgeous bath bombs. So to start with, I have my first one. Now, what I've actually done is just popped it in this bowl. You can see I did make a green bath bomb before that, but that's okay. I didn't mind. I thought it might be nice to have that tiny little bit of green in here. So this is going to be the blue portion. The brown that you can see on the top of that tanny color, that is actually some Australian kaolin clay. I do also have a tiny bit of SLSA, but you could leave that out if you don't want it. But that's going to make this a super fun, bubbling kind of bath bomb as well. Of course, I have the bicarb that has already been bloomed in there as well, and I also do have some absolutely beautiful cream of tartar that is going to make our bath bomb stay hard. So we've done that. In here I've already mixed up all of the oils that we need, and I have my trays sitting here that we're going to pop them in once we're finished. And then I also do have these little candy things that I'm going to put in the top, just a couple to make a fun decoration. So like I said, let's get on, and we'll also show you the purple one because that is in the mixer. So let's get going. So inside our mixer here, you can see I have this beautiful purple color. I'm pretty sure you can just see it through here. Now, when we're doing a two-toned, either you can mix everything up in white in here, and then you can take half out and color it or whatever. But what I usually do, I like to pre-bloom a lot of my bicarbs. So that's why when I'm doing a two-toned, I will put some in, just a bowl and mix by hand, and the other I will mix in here. That way they're going at the same time, because the minute we put the oils in, everything's going to start to harden up, and my recipe will harden up quite fast. So it's super important to make sure that you're just getting everything done at the same time so that you don't get it hardening up, because the cream of tartar is going to make it really hard, and like I said, that's going to start this whole process pretty much straight away. So inside here I do have some beautiful oils in here. I do have some polysorbate 80. That is super important to stop this sticking to the side of the bath. I've also got some jojoba oil in here, coconut oil. I've taken out the sweet almond oil for this one as well, because I'm having a lot of people asking me for bath bombs without sweet almond oil. So I may even change my recipe and sub that for coconut. Now that's a liquid coconut, not your hard coconut. So that's the difference in this one. Liquid coconut is definitely better than your harder coconut because it will help it spin more. So once you start putting the hard coconut or shayas in, they don't spin as well. So anyway, let's add this in. We're going to turn it on, and then I'll put some music on so you can see exactly what's happening. So we are ready, everybody. I have my scale here. As all of you know, I always measure everything out. I've zoomed it out. And so basically with these, all we're going to do is, like, honestly, add probably the smallest amount. There's like 5 little beads in there. That's not really much. You do need to add this into, you know, your ingredients list if you're, you know, doing all this. So what I try and do is, like, basically here, let me move them both. So I've got 2. So I've got my purple and my blue. Now, I'm actually going to change it. It's just my OCD that wants me to change one to one side and one to the other. Now, the thing with this, it's better not to mix or put your hands in either. Otherwise, it gets messy. So this is what I just do with mine. So I'm literally just going to add a little bit at a time until I get to the measurement that I actually want. So I'm just trying to get a little line, and if you pinch it on the inside, see how I did that little pinch, then it will actually make a more of a sort of wrinkled kind of line with the next color, because it will fall into those gaps. Now I do have a lot more of the purple than the blue, because I wanted the blue just to kind of be a bit of a strike in there. So like I said, and I want these to be 130 grams, because generally mine are around that. 130 is a really good bath bomb color. Bath bomb size, because once we get to more than that, then, you know, look, I just think that 130 is pretty much as a child should have. We will take this off here. Of course, you can put it in a big press. I'm just going to press it in this small press. Let me just give it a bit of a wiggle. And now, wow, I'm going to keep this in the video. You know, I mean, let's laugh, everybody, but you can see it is definitely dropped into there. So let's just take it out, and I would just leave that mess on the bench. I mean, this is the fun thing. Sometimes I think, should I take this out of the video? And then I think, no, because it's important for you to see that we all make these mistakes. I always make a big mess. It's just the way it is, isn't it? So let's keep going. I mean, like I said, you got to laugh, don't you? I mean, it's just the way it is. So let's start again. Like I said, we're going to do a bit of blue, a bit of purple as we go along, and just make this gorgeous. I will have these little beauties, you know, when I go to the expo. So as I did say to everyone, I am doing an expo in Melbourne, so that's not very long. Actually, when is it? I've got to think actually when I'm actually doing this expo, because I always forget something along the line. So yeah, so this expo is in Melbourne on the 12th and 13th of August. So it's not far, is it? It's very close. Let me just see. Maybe we will see. We might do these even. Let me just go a little bit more up. Maybe we'll just go to 150. And we will see the difference, because if you're going too low with your measurements, depending on the mold, so this, I think this is a 2.2 inch mold, because I did get this from the US. You know, sometimes you won't have that satin line in it. Now, obviously you want to press it up. Like, I'm being lazy. I do actually have the thing where you press them up, but often I just do it with my own hand. That's why I actually dropped it before. And we will just wiggle the side away. So 150 is going to give me that little tiny satin line, which is probably good, isn't it? We'll give it a little tap. I never tap the top, because that can actually crush the top. And there you go. Doesn't it look beautiful? And then we are going to put it straight into the mold. So you can see there's not heaps of blue, but that's okay. And then that just gives a little fun to the top, but we don't want heaps of blue. And then we're going to put it into these molds, and I'll see if I can show you without ruining it. But yeah, so basically that's the mold. So I think let's stick to 150 just for today. Most of mine, like I said, are 130, which is fine. We will keep, you know, I like to keep to kind of that. But sometimes people might want one that's a little bit bigger. So like I said, let's just make this one a tiny bit bigger, and we will see how gorgeous this one's going to be, won't we? You can do several colors as well. You definitely don't have to And the only reason I'm giving it a slight push down, everybody, is just to fit this in, because otherwise it would come over the top. But, you just do whatever is right for you. There's no right or wrong. It's just whatever you want to do. And often the first one can be more compacted because as we go along, we're going to notice the difference. So because, this is going to get, it's obviously got its hardener in it, so it will start to get harder if I take too long. So usually you only have like a 10-minute or 15-minute span, and then it's going to really start to harden up. My bath bombs are super hard. Usually, I'm going to say within probably an hour. I don't pack them until like maybe 8-9 hours later or the next day, but you definitely could if you wanted. And so then I just wipe around the side to make that neat, because this is the satin line. Give it a bit of a tap on either side. Look, you don't have to. You could literally just squeeze it. So when I pick it up, I don't just pull that off. I'm squeezing the side slightly, if you can see how I do that, and then it comes off perfect. Now, rather than putting it in my hand like I did to show you, you can just do this, turn it upside down, and I don't know whether you can see, it's probably just out of the view, but the next one I will show you, and that way it's beautiful and it's on the tray. So once again, like I said, we will start with the next one. I can't believe I dropped the first one. God, hopeless, aren't I? I mean, you've got to laugh. Now, also with my mixture, in here, my citric acid ratio is only 40% of the bicarb. Now, most other ones on the market, you will see them, they're much more different to mine, which is okay. We're all different the way we make things, but a lot of people just do 50% because that's Lush's original recipe, I think, was like 50%. But for me, I did not want to have the same recipe as them. I was very adamant that it had to be different because I don't want to be sued for copying anybody or anything like that. So it is super important. Now, 150 once again. Let's just, I just get rid of the excess. And you can pick this up that's on here later. It's just not going to look as beautiful as the other ones because it's going to have a multicolour. But I will still make them and sell them because some people actually prefer multicolours. So, you've just got to do whatever's right for you. Now, when I turn these onto the tray, it's important to make sure that the bit with the candy bit is facing upwards, not downwards, or because you don't want the candy falling out. So if you squeeze this and you think, which I forgot to tap it, but if you see the candy bit, then just put the lid back on and turn it. So you see how I can see that? So basically what we want to do is then we'll put it back on, turn it that way, because then I want to turn it onto the tray that way. If that makes sense. So can you see how my hands are kind of holding it a little? And then I just put it into the tray and take it out. And I will whiz over this to show everybody afterwards. And, I've had quite a few people asking me at the moment why I stopped making bath bombs. Now, I did kind of make them. I took them off my site for a bit because I wanted to revamp my site. I wasn't happy with a few things on the side. I really wanted it to change. So that's pretty much why, to be honest, everybody, that's why I changed my site a bit. I wanted to also reformulate my bath bomb recipe just a tiny bit. I mean, all of my bath bomb is fine. Like, all the old recipes, if you're using it, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to up my game and have it looking a little bit more jazzy, I guess. So that was just something I wanted for me. But, and to be honest, look, bath bombs weren't selling. There was a time that I was just not doing very good. And I was thinking, why not? Because bath bombs were always my biggest seller. Now they're probably not. I'd say, honestly, probably, I'm trying to think what's my best seller. It would probably be melts at the moment. I sell a lot of melts, a lot of soap. I mean, soap's always popular, isn't it? My earrings are becoming a bit popular as well. So, once again, you can see, doesn't it look beautiful? And can you see how smooth this is? Now, one thing I'm going to tell everyone, to make a smooth bath bomb, there's something very important you need to remember. The citric acids are not the same. So I seen the other day, I think it was Ilux had some citric acid really cheap, and was, well, not cheap, but it was just a good price, you know. So I might try that and see. But often when I do that, then I get them and then I find that, you know, they're much more coarse and I have to grind them down. Whereas when I buy them from N Essentials, they're very fine. So, but N Essentials are pretty much double the price of anyone else. So, you know, if you buy from someone like that, you need to add that in your price. That's just the way it is. Which is hard, isn't it? Because, you know, then it means your product price goes up so much more. It's really hard. You kind of got to go, you know, in the middle somewhere. Now, also, while we're doing this, let me just put a tiny bit more in, because I like to put more in because it will lose a bit of weight. And, of course, all these little bits are going to come off, so you need to make sure we add that in as well. What was I talking about? Now, see, I always lose my train of thought. You know, just hopeless, aren't I? Also, these bath bomb molds, I've had these for years. I got these from Bath Bomb, it was at Bath Bomb World, and they get them from the US. So I think it's called the Express Bath Bomb. I think this one was $100 maybe. It wasn't cheap, but it's the best bath bomb mold I've ever used. They actually, I don't know whether they still do it, but they used to sand the inside of them so they're super smooth. So it gives a smooth finish. But you can also get ones from like Lee Molds. You can get them from Soap Chef, also do them. You know, of course, Cater, all of those kind of ones. You could just sand it in the middle. So just get a piece of sandpaper and sand those lines down a bit. That's definitely what you could do. And of course, there you go. There's another one looking super duper beautiful. We're going to put that on because we want to, of course, tip this onto the mold, don't we? So let's just turn that around, and they're looking beautiful. Also, make sure your humidity is good, my friends. You know, this is something that is really important. We all forget this, but humidity plays a massive part in bath bombs. Otherwise, your bath bombs can end up with little spots on them. They'll look ugly, I'm going to be honest. They'll start looking really ugly, and then you'll get upset, you know, because the humidity plays a massive, massive role in the end result of bath bombs. So if it's like thundering, honestly, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't even bother trying to make a bath bomb in the thunder. For me, I'm just like, no, it's not worth it. Now, also, if your bath bomb is sinking, if you just get your finger and put a little hole like that inside it and push your finger down, it will make a gap on the inside. I don't push mine are not super tight. So when you see me pushing, it's very gentle. But if you compact them too much, they will sink. So that's a bit of a trick as well. And if you want them to last longer, put products like SLSA or milk powder, coconut powder in them, just a spoonful or so, and it will help them last longer. Otherwise, the citric acid's just going to fizz and pretty much, you know, kind of end the bath bomb, isn't it? But I don't mind about that. It's just a bit of fun. I don't put heaps of colours in mine as well. Mine only have a slight amount of colours, so mine are not going to make the water turn electric pink or anything like that. It'll be very muted colour, but in my experience, honestly, that's what people want. So I always just kind of, you know, listen to what people tell me they want and go from that. Anyway, I'm going to finish making these. I will bring you back to show you the end result of how gorgeous they're going to look. So I have finished, everybody. So here is a quick look at how beautiful they look. You can see the one at the back has more green because I'd run out of purple, which I quite actually like that. Maybe next time I will do 50 of one color and 50 of the other rather than more purple, but it doesn't matter because people always search through the one they actually love the most. Now, if you want my new recipe, I will put that over on Patreon. So for all members at the $7 $1.50 or higher levels, they will definitely be able to see that one. And if you come in at the $5 levels, I still put recipes. I just don't put all of them. But you know, it's definitely a great resource if you want to see what I'm up to, what I'm making, some recipes, some ideas. I give some tips and tricks over there. Or if you just simply want to support me for, you know, all the work that I try and do to bring value and help everyone, of course you can come over there as well. All the links are in my descriptions on my videos. Anyway, I hope you have loved it today. I will see you next time. Bye, friends.